Good afternoon. I'm very glad to be today in this quite insightful discussion. I'm going to give you my perspective, my reflections regarding the subject matter. First of all, I think there is no doubt that when we talk about the EU recovery funds, this is a unique opportunity for Greece. I would say maybe the final chance, not just to cure the wounds from the pandemic, but also to change fundamentally its economic model and being competitive going forward. So it's a unique opportunity indeed. And the good news is that we have managed to secure a disproportionate to our economic footprint in the union amount of funds. And then I feel that this is, again, something that we need to have in our mind going forward. In my view, there are four pillars that we need to build on, and one condition that we need to address in order to change the economic model and in order to make Greece being competitive in the era of fourth industrial evolution. First pillar, of course, is the existence of high speed, high quality, high resilient, high bandwidth networks, both wireless and cable. And I'm talking, of course, about 5G and fiber in the fixed space. And if you see things from where I stand, it's absolutely clear that when it comes to networks, based on the investment plans that they are in place, Greece will not lag behind on connectivity vis-à-vis other countries in the European Union. We have a strong legacy anyway, that when it comes to mobile, in all previous Gs, Greece was not lagging behind, and I'm confident that this will be the case going forward. When it comes to fixed, maybe we stayed much longer committed to copper, but given the recent investments in the industry, I believe also when it comes to fiber, we will be there. So networks and connectivity will not be an issue. When it comes to connectivity, we need to think about two areas, and we may kick off a discussion. First area is that when it comes to 5G, we need to open up the ecosystem of vendors, because currently all companies like Vodafone, for example, depend to a very small amount of vendors. So we need to open up the ecosystem by having in mind a more neutral, vendor agnostic technology. I'm referring to Open RAN, that we as Vodafone, we intend to run pilots, and we'll ask for the help from the policymakers and the government in order to enable us to do those pilots, in order to have a new ecosystem, much more neutral, more vendors in that space. And the second one, when it comes to fiber, we need to think what are the barriers for adoption of fiber by enterprises or even consumers. And in most cases, it seems that the fiber may be on the road, but when it comes to the building, we have serious issues that we have to tackle. So an idea would be, and needs to be discussed, that these fiber-ready buildings would be an issue that also recovery funds can support in order to make it easier for the adoption of fiber by both consumers and enterprises. The second pillar, let me say that connectivity, it's required, but not capable by its own to do the transformation. The other three pillars that I'm going to mention very briefly are the ones that are capable in making us seizing both the recovery funds, but also the transformation, the digital transformation that we need to do in Greece. So second pillars, digitization, of course, of the society, but most importantly, digitization of small medium enterprises, which is the backbone of Greek economy. So we need to think about ways of increasing adoption of in connectivity in the new networks, either 5G or fiber, not only for connectivity, and we have to dedicate funds in order to make this transition easier, but also in areas like cyber and like cloudification of those enterprises. And the second one, we need to make all these services affordable. We need to start rethinking the tax regime for those services. We all know that when it comes to mobile telephony, Greece is a country that overtaxed the mobile services. There are studies that say, for example, a study from Bank of Greece indicating that higher taxation in mobile communication doesn't produce higher tax revenues. On the contrary. And also when it comes to fixed, an idea that needs to be discussed, of course, is that we incentivize the adoption of higher speeds. So in a way, we may reduce taxation on those services. Third pillar, digitization of public sector. The minister referred to that, so nothing to say more. But one thing, which is we saw what we can do when it comes to the digitization of public sector if we focus on that. And I'm referring to what we managed to do in a few weeks of lockdown back in March. And we had initiatives in digitizing the public sector that they were there as problems for decades. So we need to keep the momentum. Fourth pillar, very important, digital skills. People use the technology. People will use the application. People, the entire society, needs to have digital skills. So this is a question about our education system. It's about how we reskill and we upskill the entire society. Last thing from my end, it's what is the condition. The condition that we need to address is the speed to absorb the funds. And we need to have flexible mechanisms in order to do that, because as I said at the very beginning, it's a unique opportunity. And this can happen only if the entire ecosystem of private sector, hand in hand with public, can accelerate the projects, can accelerate the processes in order to be capable or absorbing actually the 17% of our GDP. This is the recovery funds that we have secured. So this is the condition, which is not the easiest thing, by the way, because it's quite complicated, but absorbing the funds will be the condition that we need to address.
Thank you very much, Mr. Broumidis. I have a question for you before we go on. A few days ago, you announced the creation of an innovation centre in Greece. Perhaps you could tell us a bit more about that, what the purpose of it is, and what benefits you see Greece receiving from it.
We all know that Internet of Things and the combination of this technology with all other technologies of the fourth industrial evolution, networks, AI, can create a new opportunities for the entire world. So Internet of Things is at the heart of how we change the models, the business models across all verticals of the economic activity. So what we announced a few days ago is that Vodafone decided to create one of its global centers of research and development in Greece, particularly in the area of e-health, which is quite important in those times. And we are very happy in working in our subsidiary Vodafone Innovus in order to build these applications for e-health that they will scale up in the entire footprint of Vodafone. I think the message here is the following. There is a confidence from a global brand and a global investor. It's a confidence about Greece. It's a confidence about the prospects of Greece. It's a confidence about how we tackle and we create an environment of good investment opportunities. But most importantly, it's a vote of confidence for the Greek talent to be able to create global solutions and go beyond our national borders and capture opportunities specifically on IoT and more specifically on e-health solutions that will be quite on demand in the years to come.